Good day everybody and welcome to Doing Business in the Cameroon. With me today is Mrs. Ayuk Takor, a Cameroonian tax manager from PwC. Welcome Ayuk.
Thank you Alan for having me.
So Ayuk, tell us a little bit about your country. What the country's like, what the people are like, and what opportunities are there to do business?
Thank you Alan. Cameroon is called Africa in miniature due to its economic, human and cultural diversity. It is also a country which has a lot of potential thanks to its financial stability and its relatively young population, who is also very hardworking. And with regards to investment opportunities, there are a few sectors where the government is putting a lot of emphasis so as to pull foreign investment. These are in mining, in agro-industry as well. There is a lot of interest in vocational training, and finally, as always, in oil and gas.
Thanks Ayuk, that was very, very interesting. Cameroon seems to have a very vibrant economy and lots of opportunities for foreign investors. Perhaps you could tell us why some investors may be reluctant to invest in the Cameroon.
There are indeed some challenges which investors have allowed to discourage them, unfortunately. I would think the first of these would be a very quick shift in tax policy. Cameroon does have annual tax laws which tend to create a bit of uncertainty for foreign investors. Luckily, there have been some moves by the tax administration and the administration in general to increase investor certainty. This has come up through the use of tax incentives. There was an investment law which was enacted very recently, and this investment law helps to give some legal and tax and financial incentives to foreign investors so that it will help with the certainty. Also, issues such as having a contingency plan in case of any problems that arise with using state infrastructure have always been historically an issue with foreign investors. We need to remember that Cameroon is a growing economy from a digital as well as a physical infrastructure perspective. And so sometimes growing pains cause the economy not to be as vibrant as it needs to be. So the state has also tried to do this, has also tried to help with this, for example, by opening a second port and also by trying to expand and maintain its infrastructure so as to avoid some of these issues. Other issues which might arise are the lack of skilled labor, and this is why the government is placing emphasis on foreign investors who would like to open vocational training institutes. And also there is a plan with regards to getting expatriate skilled labor into the country so that foreign investors still have qualified people to run their businesses. The last aspect I would say has been a challenge to foreign investors would be bureaucracy and corruption. This is not something which is particular to Cameroon. This is something which is found in almost every African country due to the fact that these are still developing economies. However, with the recent crackdown on corruption, I think there has been a significant shift in government attitude and even in the attitude of the public. And it is my personal hope that corruption is going to be reduced to a level which does not hamper economic development.
Thanks, Ayuk. So in conclusion, what are the three most important factors that a foreign investor must have in mind when seeking to do business in the Cameroon?
I would say three actions which every foreign investor should absolutely undertake before coming into the country would be, first, to know your market. Know your market is not just carry out your commercial or trade due diligence, but also know the legal and tax and financial ramifications of whatever business you're trying to put up. And secondly, have a contingency plan for these issues, for the issues I mentioned previously. Make sure that you have a plan for how to integrate the market. Make sure you have a plan for how to adapt to any issues which might arise. And finally, do not set aside or do not underestimate the importance of having a relationship with the different administrations you are called to work with. Luckily or unluckily for Cameroon, there is a lot of emphasis put on the reputation of a taxpayer, a lot of emphasis put on how a taxpayer is viewed by the public and by the administrations in power. So it is important to make sure that at every time you are seen as a responsible taxpayer, as a responsible investor, and the government, the state has the confidence in you, which they need to give you a hand with carrying out your business.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Cameroon is clearly open for business. It's been a pleasure talking to you, Ayuk, and you've been most informative. And I hope our audience has found this discussion useful.